truth in a world of lies. You are listening to the JohnAge Project.
Trust no one. Trust no one. Trust no one.
You found it. You're here. You're headlong down the runaway train that is the AnomicAge, and I am your host, JohnAge, coming at you in the not-so-wee hours of the PM, hailing proudly from the coastal plains of the Old North State. I will be your tour guide this afternoon as we take a somewhat satirical journey down the path of murder, destruction, mayhem, and the extermination of human life on this planet. A forced march into obsolescence thrust upon us by a global satanic death cult of pedophiles. Check out AnomicAge.com if you have not already done so. Please like all the likes, subscribe to all the subscriptions. PayPal.me/AnomicAge. Patreon.com. Yeah. /AnomicAge as well. Cash App. Buy me a cup of coffee. Oh, yeah. Anyway, folks, you got all that right there at AnomicAge.com. Free iPhone app, free Android app. Subscribe by email link and so much more. Right there at AnomicAge.com. Downright silly today, but that's okay. We got a little information coming your way. Talking about caveats. Caveats and qualifiers. That's what we're getting into today. Let me move this over. I just don't like it. No me gusta. Much better. Caveats and qualifiers is exactly what we're getting into today, in case you were wondering. And I've been wanting to do this show for a while. And actually, I thought I had all the notes for it. I was ready to go. And then I thought, what the heck? I don't have anything for it. It was all in my mind. I had put the whole thing together. I even thought I had images for this thing. Apparently not, but don't worry. Now we do. Now we do. Caveats and qualifiers, indeed. And that's exactly what we're going to get into. The overtly politically correct, completely weak, prostrated, castrated, and otherwise cucked society that we live in today. That's really what we got to talk about, folks, because it's downright nauseating. It's sickening, really. It is. And believe it or not, this is not the world that we always lived in, folks. It really wasn't. And call me crazy because, as I've mentioned on this time before, I'm not exactly long in the tooth, but born in the 70s, child in the 80s, little adolescence in the 90s, and here I am. So I grew up in a vastly different time than many of those unfortunate folks that are growing up today. And we lived in such a different time, folks. It was a pop culture world of the Jeffersons, All in the Family, good times. I mean, there was so much beauty in the cultures that were portrayed in popular culture. It was really pre this whole rap and hip-hop death culture that's been promulgated in the last 30 years. All that was beginning to take hold, but it really wasn't this ridiculous phenomenon that has been a destructive element in all culture today. It wasn't there, folks. So, sorry, I have this ridiculously bad habit now of crunching ice on the show. I'm knocking it off, don't worry. So I say all that to say this, folks. It was a vastly different time and a totally different culture. And that's what I grew up in. And this whole nauseation of political correctness, and you can't say this, and that might offend somebody if you say that, and we better put in all these qualifiers of inclusivity We better have all of these demonstrative diversity, equity, and inclusion elementals. That just won't there, folks. It was wonderful. Everybody just got along or they didn't. People said what they wanted to say or they didn't. It wasn't this feelings-based malarkey, folks. Watch any of those old shows that I just mentioned. It was just beautiful. People got along. People kind of threw jabs at each other. People were just being normal humans, okay? It worked on both sides of the color fence. It worked on all sides of the sexual fence and the like, folks. That's just how life was. It was a beautiful thing. But I would submit to you, about 30 years ago, we began to see this complete decimation and political correctness, nanny state, finger wag of political correctness seeping into all extremities of the body. And alas, here we are today with DEI hire. Another day, another disaster, another DEI hire. We got, this is from St. Louis. A couple days ago, we had a pretty terrible tornado coming through that neck of the woods. And lo and behold, let me pull up the stats. They're as up to date as they're going to be. 5 killed, 38 injured. That was about 6 hours ago. 5 killed, 38 injured from this hurricane. Excuse me, from this hurricane. I was thinking about North Carolina and how they got put out to dry by FEMA. No, in this instance, it was a tornado. So we got Kara Spencer, poster child for the they, them peoples. It's become so hard for me to do this show, honestly, because I really am trying to turn over a better leaf and do less of the name calling and less of the just lambasting people for their ills. So it's become kind of increasingly difficult to do that. But you're seeing this person on the screen. The jokes write themselves. They really do. I don't have to just lambaste individuals and make fun and name call. I mean, the jokes write themselves. That is Kara Spencer. I've seen on some publications her name as being Sarah. But the most I was seeing was C-A-R-A. So I'm assuming that's it. I don't know. Nevertheless, it's the same old song, folks. It's the same old song from where we saw these Secret Service agents at the Trump attempted assassination, fake assassination, whatever you want to call that piece of public theater. But you saw individuals looking a whole lot like Kara here. Duck and cover and die, like this dive under the table. Don't worry about the president kind of thing. You saw the same thing about 3-4 months ago with all these air traffic controller incidences and the like. And guess what? Holy shnikes. It's more DEI hires. If you look back, previous administration, I don't even remember some of these boobs' names. The guy that was dressed like a dog, holding some sort of high military rank in our government. You got the dude trying to pass himself off as a chick. Being our public health czar or whatever. So again, more DEI nonsense, more incidences as the jokes write themselves. It's just sad. But what is sad is that the American people have fallen for all these caveats and qualifiers. Caveats and qualifiers. Nobody wants to be mean. Nobody wants to hurt anybody's feelings. Everyone wants to be nice. And I've done a little bit of a deep dive into this juxtaposition of nice versus kind, because the Bible always references kind. It doesn't really say Jesus was nice ever. He was kind. Kind. The perfect example of what we're all supposed to be. He was kind. So he didn't hang out with the prostitutes and say, "Attaboy, keep up the good work." He said, "No. Turn over that leaf, pick up your cross, follow me. Stop sinning, and let's go." That is called being kind and not nice. When he was out there saying, whoever has not sinned, cast the first stone, when they were about to stone this woman out in front of the town that had committed adultery. He didn't say, "Hey, stop it, man. Peace, bro. We're not supposed to harm this lady. She's doing the right thing, man. How dare you question her adulterous nature?" No. Wasn't what he said. He, in essence, said they're all sinners that are trying to stone this woman to death. Knock it off. And to the woman, also, knock it off. Don't keep doing it. Don't keep being trans. Don't keep being gay. Don't keep committing adultery. Don't keep cheating at the workplace. Don't keep doing X, Y, and Z. We all know the commandments, or at least we should. Again, kind, not nice. I'll go biblical again with you for the old iron sharpening iron thing. Everyone seems to have forgotten about that because no one wants to call anyone out on their proverbial mess. So, since nobody will do that, I guess we got 5 dead, 38 injured, thanks to a DEI hire. Thanks to fulfilling a quota, getting in line with the they-them mafia, and hiring another morbidly obese person that can't figure out what they are with a mental illness. So, in lieu of hiring qualified people that can actually do the job, the vast majority of the institutions across this land, K through 12 indoctrination, college, university weaponization, all the way up to the highest offices in the land. I just went over the dog guy in the military and the dude with a dress, Surgeon General. I mean, come on, folks. Because no one wants to call sin for sin. No one wants to call things out for what they actually are. No one wants to say, "Hey, you know what? You really can't do this job. There's plenty of other jobs out there. This ain't for you." Okay? I'll be the first to tell you, I'm not a numbers guy. I'm not into mathematics. I don't have anything to do with accounting. Now, if I put on a dress and claim to be a black Muslim woman and apply for an accounting position, does that mean that I should get the accounting job? I sure as bleep hope not, because I'm about the least qualified person imaginable for that job. But that seems to be the bread and butter of these various institutions across the land. And because everyone's being nice rather than kind, no one is standing up, putting their hand up and say, "Hey, this is a bunch of bogus nonsense." And by no one, I mean very few. So therein lies the problem. That's why we have Drag Queen Story Hour. That's why we have all these pornographic books in students' libraries. That's why we have Dog Boy up there. That's why we have Chick with a Beard up there. I mean, this is why, folks. Because everyone wants to play patty cakey, nicey, let's not hurt anybody's feelings. Because everyone wants to get emotional and everyone wants to look to, well, there's someone in my family and I have a friend that, hey, that ain't my problem, folks. That ain't my issue. We got to recognize sin for sin and call it out. Sorry if it ruffles feathers at the dinner table. Sorry if it hacks off people at the Christmas dinner. It just is what it is, folks. So those in the populace that are not Satanists, that are not of the devil, have been quiet for far too long. They've been playing nice rather than kind. They have let the evil ones take the pole position, take the lead, if you will. And I've come to another big conclusion. I'm just going to stop the semantical baloney as well, calling it Democrats and conservatives and all this, that, and the other. Here's the crux of it all, folks. It's good versus evil. That's what's up. There's bad Democrats, there's bad Republicans. There's good versus evil on both sides of the fence. So why don't we just call it for what it is? It's evil Satanists versus people that are godly Christians, followers of Jesus versus those that are not. There you go. Cut to the chase. Cut it all the way down to the white meat. That's what's up. Continue to ruffle feathers. Fine. Just call it for what it is. Because I'm sorry, there's no way you're going to convince me, right, left, or otherwise, that someone who is in favor of abortion is a Christian. That someone who is in favor of lopping off genitalia is a Christian. That someone who is in favor of drag queen story hour is a Christian. That someone who is in favor of Jill has two mommies is a Christian. You just can't do it. I'm sorry, you can't. That someone who is in favor of killing people over there and wherever the bleep the latest killing de jour is going on, Israel, Palestine, the Gaza Strip, yeah. Anyone who's in favor of that genocide is a Christian. Anyone who wants to not openly admit the millions and millions killed by the communist regimes, the Khmer Rouge, the Maos, the Lenins, the Stalins, that completely eclipses everything that supposedly the 6 million Hitler number came up to, right? But they don't want to talk about that either. They don't want to call evil for evil. There's only one evil guy, apparently. It's just ridiculous. They were all evil scumbags, folks. So why do we hyper-focus on just one? Very interesting. Caveats and qualifiers. That's really what it boils down to. And what reminded me of this is because I was speaking to someone just the other night and caught myself doing it. I said something to the effect of the men in the military. And then I thought, men and women in the military. And then my right mind kicked in and thought, what a crock of turds. Everyone wants to throw these qualifiers out there now. The men and women. Well, it's not all black people. Well, it's not all Jews. It's not all white people. It's not all Democrats. It's not all Muslims. They want to throw all these dang qualifiers out there. Folks, it's a bunch of turds. Of course it's not all of anything, okay? That's ridiculous. But the fact that we're so hyperbolically incensed with this victim card mentality that if anyone feels the least bit smited, they've got to throw up their victim card. That's what's created this hyperbolic idiocy where everyone has to throw out these caveats and qualifiers. Well, it's not all. Oh, well, there's men and women too. Well, they're not all bad. You know, this sort of qualifier nonsense is nauseating. And it's something that seeped into our culture over several decades. Because again, when I was a kid, this didn't exist. People just said what they wanted to say. And if people didn't like it, then they would argue or fight about it and they'd call it a day. That's it. There wasn't this lifelong journey of, well, I found this video from 30 years ago where they said, I found this video from 6 years ago where he actually insinuated that there was pronouns were just tomfoolery. You know? Like, that's what's so insane. So here's my advice to everyone. Quit playing the game. Quit playing the game. Quit using caveats and qualifiers. Just say what you want. Someone gets mad, then good. Maybe that'll lead to a conversation. Maybe that'll be that spark moment of iron sharpening iron. Maybe someone will rethink their stupidity. I'm not saying go out there and be mean. Oh, you said the words and they can't say the words. And yeah, stop it. Just be normal. Be yourself. Say what you want. Stop throwing caveats and qualifiers in every conversation. It's nauseating. Be strong. Stand by what you believe. Believe in what you stand for. Stop being weak. That's all I've got to say about that. You can't do everything, but you can do something. Please do your part. Get out there, do something. I'll be seeing you sooner than later in the AnomicAge.
Thank you for listening to the AnomicAge, a JohnAge project. For past shows, further info, and to comment, go to AnomicAge.com. That's AnomicAge.com. Till next time, thank you for listening to the AnomicAge.